If you're looking for some practical advice on how to build wealth and achieve financial success, you need to check out The Richest Man in Babylon. It's a classic self-help book that was first published in the 1920s, but its message is still relevant today. The book is structured around a series of parables set in ancient Babylon, and each one teaches a lesson about money management and wealth building. Some of the key principles the book covers include saving at least 10% of your income, investing wisely, increasing your earning ability, protecting your wealth, owning property, planning for your retirement, and continuously learning and acquiring new skills. It also talks about the importance of giving back to your community and seeking out the counsel of those who are wise and successful. One of the things that makes The Richest Man in Babylon so great is that it's written in a really accessible and engaging way. The stories are easy to follow, and they illustrate the book's key principles in a way that's memorable and fun. Some also strike too close to home. If you're someone in your family trying to be the first one to be successful with money, there's a conversation in the beginning about a bunch of guys standing around whining and complaining about how rich this local guy is, how nice his chariot is while it drives down the street. They're driven by jealousy and anger, not inspired, curious, or hardworking, and it just really hits you how long your family may have been suffering for, since this book is set thousands of years ago in ancient Babylon. On top of this, the advice is practical and straightforward. No jargon or confusing financial concepts. If you're looking for some solid guidance on how to build wealth and achieve financial success, this is definitely a book worth checking out. So let's break it down by chapter, pulling the best quotes from each. The concept of saving at least 10% of your income is introduced in chapter 1. The story of Arcad, a wealthy man who was asked by his friend how he became so wealthy, is used to exemplify this principle. Arcad explains that he began saving at least 10% of his income at the start of his career, and chose wise things to invest in, allowing it to grow and generate more income over time. This introduces the concept of controlling your expenses and ensuring that you do not spend more than you earn. Arcad advises his friend to, quote, spend less than thou earnest in order to accumulate wealth. The book also gives timeless tips on how to choose wisely on what you are investing in, and how you can educate yourself on these investments and learn new skills in order to increase earning potential. 3 important quotes from chapter 1 are, the first rule of successful saving is to spend less than thou earnest. The wise man puts a portion of his earnings into a saving account. The gold thou hast set aside works for thee, increasing thy wealth. So start saving 10% as early as you can, stressing the investing, not gambling, picking things that are proven strategies by people that are experts, while also working to learn more about those things you invested in. And it'll help you to start to think about your money as workers. Each dollar you have is going to work with you out in the world. This may seem small at first, but as $10 becomes $100, becomes $1,000, becomes $1 million, your millions of workers out there in the market at 10% are bringing you back about $100 grand each year. The principle of control thy expenditures is the focus of chapter 2. This principle suggests controlling your spending and not spending more than you earn in order to accumulate wealth. It tells the story of Gilgamesh, a man who is looking for financial advice. Arcad, Babylon's richest man, advises him to control thy expenditures and spend less than thou earnest in order to save and invest some of his earnings. It's the first look at a type of compounding interest, as your actual 10% invested has compound interest working for it, but also by sticking to your budget, you're able to invest even more money, which also compounds, and this whole process just snowballs. With this advice, Gilgamesh is able to grow his wealth. Powerful quotes from this chapter are, the wise man controls his expenses, the fool does not. There is no easier way to increase thy wealth than by controlling thy expenditures. The message of chapter 2 is that controlling your spending and not spending more than you earn is an important strategy for accumulating wealth. Even if you are investing that 10%, if you're spending more than you make, you're going backwards by having so much debt. You can increase your wealth over time by eliminating unnecessary expenses and saving and investing a portion of your income. Chapter 3 focuses on the make thy gold multiply principle, which recommends investing your savings in profitable ventures that will generate more income for you. The chapter follows Banseer, a chariot maker who has no savings to show for his efforts, with, quote, the easiest way to make gold is to have it work for thee. The wise man does not invest in ventures that are not safe and profitable. The wise man increases his wealth by increasing his earning ability. The message of chapter 3 is investing in things like businesses or real estate, some profitable venture that will generate more income. You must be extremely critical of these ventures and conduct thorough research before investing, but getting this to work really starts to accelerate that snowball effect. Chapter 4 goes on defense and focuses on the principle guard thy treasures from loss, and advises protecting your wealth by diversifying your investments. The chapter tells the story of Kobe, a man who has a lot of money but is afraid of losing it. This is especially true in our modern day with inflation. Your money is under attack even if you're just holding on to it. Money sitting in the bank is actually losing buying power with each year, as the prices of everything keep going up. Arcad advises him to diversify his investments to safeguard his wealth. Kobe heeds this advice and is able to weather financial setbacks. One of his investments was a failure, but because he was invested in different ventures, he did not lose his entire fortune. He who would accumulate his wealth must not allow his treasures to be scattered. The wise man spends his investments over many ventures. He who risks all his treasure in one venture may soon lose all. The message of chapter 4 is to not put all your eggs in one basket, that it's critical to protect your wealth by diversifying your investments, while stressing that you really do need to be cautious here. You'll need to review your investments on a regular basis in order to ensure that they are still in line with your financial goals, and you might even have to call it quits with some of these ventures and adjust your portfolio as needed. But remember, whether it's gold underneath your Babylonian bed or cash sitting in a savings account, this is not a smart use of your money. It'll be stolen either by a thief climbing through a window or inflation in the market. The 5th chapter focuses on the principle, make thy dwelling a profitable investment, which suggests that owning property can potentially generate income and wealth. The chapter tells the story of Richest, a man who is looking for financial advice, and Arcad suggests that he invest in real estate to generate income. By being shrewd, methodical, and cautious, he is able to snowball these properties and eventually is renting out several of them. Quote, houses are like fruit. The best time to buy them is when they are young, before they have grown ripe and before their value has increased. The wise man does not sell his property unless he can obtain a greater benefit thereby. He who seeks to increase his wealth by owning houses that others pay to occupy is wise. There are modern terms like house hacking, where you rent out some rooms, or owning a small apartment building or duplex, and just living in one of the units. Even if it's your primary home that you hold on to for years, if you can find a way to rent it out to where it covers the payments, you're essentially getting a free house, which is almost always increasing above inflation, and can be sold at a profit or act as a revenue stream by renting it out. Again, the rules of caution and diversifying your investments still apply, and you can really mess this up by overpaying for a property. Chapter 6 focuses on the principle, ensure a future income, which advises saving for retirement and investing in a way that will provide a steady income in your later years. The chapter is about Zadkiel, a man who is concerned about how he will support himself in his old age. Arcad recommends that he set aside a portion of his income and invest in a way that will provide him with a steady income during retirement. By following the rules laid out in this chapter, he does have enough revenue coming in that he doesn't have to work in his golden years. He's able to retire and still have a comfortable income. He who would enjoy a future income must set aside a portion of his earnings to provide for it. The wise man invests in a manner to get the most for his money. He who prepares not for the future shall have nothing when it comes. The message of chapter 6 is that it is crucial to plan for your retirement by putting money aside and investing in a way that will provide a consistent income in your later years. You can take advantage of compound interest and potentially build a significant nest egg for retirement, especially if you start saving early. It's also critical to review your retirement savings and investment strategy on a regular basis to ensure that you're keeping on track. Chapter 7 focuses on the principle of increase thy ability to earn, which suggests that you educate yourself and learn new skills on a regular basis to increase your value and earning potential. The chapter tells the story of Rimban, a man who wants to know how to make more money. Arcad recommends that he invest in his education and learn a new trade to increase his value and earning potential. This can take a million different forms nowadays, as trades could be anything from being a plumber to a YouTuber, but Rimban makes sure that he just keeps getting better at what he does and significantly increases his income. The more a man learns, the more he is able to earn. The wise man seeks to increase his earning power. He who would have gold must be prepared to earn it. The message of chapter 7 is that educating yourself and learning new skills on a regular basis is an important strategy for increasing your earning potential and building wealth. Whether you're an employee or solo entrepreneur, you should always be involved in learning more about your trade, never getting too comfy or feeling like you know it all, and staying current and competitive in your field. Chapter 8 focuses on the principle, spend wisely and enjoy what thou earnest, which recommends being mindful of your spending while also not being overly frugal and depriving yourself of enjoyment. With all this disciplined financial advice, you also don't want to burn out. And even the richest man in Babylon acknowledges that life is to be enjoyed. The money you make is supposed to help that, not make you feel like you're slaving away to some lord. The chapter tells the story of a young man who is looking for financial advice. Arcad advises him to be mindful of his spending and to prioritize saving and investing a portion of his income. That there's a fine line between financial responsibility and enjoying the fruits of your labor. It might be hard to work hard, but poverty is hard too. And while you don't want to slave away making some other lord rich, your goals should not be lords over you, but act as guiding wisdom in your financial journey. The wise man spends wisely, that he may have more to invest. The wise man saves, that he may enjoy what he earns. The wise man does not deny himself the pleasures that he may reasonably afford. Overall, Chapter 8 wants to make sure that you remember that the whole point of this was to make sure that you could enjoy life even more. applying enough discipline on your own end to escape that tyrant known as poverty, while also making sure you avoid burnout. Chapter 9 focuses on the principle to give back to the community, which encourages people to help others and contribute to society in order to find happiness and prosperity. In this chapter, Arcad works with a young man who is able to build his own wealth while also feeling fulfilled and satisfied by making connections and improving the lives around him in his society. He who gives to the poor lends to the Lord. The wise man seeks to help others, that he may help himself. The wise man gives freely of his time, his effort, and his substance, that he may enrich his own life. Our main character here, the richest man, is doing just that by helping us. And just how you're going to feel like you're missing out if you never indulge in anything nice that you want to buy, you will start to grow jaded and hollow if you aren't able to build up a place in the community. It is critical to strike a balance between accumulating wealth and giving back to others, not to put them above yourself and to serve them. Just like you can't make your goals become the lord over you, don't let your help for another start to feel like you're becoming his slave. But just like your goals should help you along the road to the path of financial success, helping others get onto this path with you just makes for a better journey. Chapter 10 focuses on follow these principles consistently, which advises adhering to the book's principles consistently over time in order to build wealth. In this chapter, Arcad is talking to a young man, and he knows that the hardest challenge is going to be applying this consistently, and that to the young man's perspective, 1 year is a long time, and he tries to get him to see that before he knows it, 3 years, 5 years, a whole decade will pass, and the man could be so much more financially secure if he followed these principles, even if they seem boring or simplistic at the time. The wise man follows these principles consistently, that he may always be ready for opportunity. The wise man does not permit his wealth to be scattered, but continually adds to it. The wise man does not wait for opportunity to come to him, but seeks it out. Again, it is about balance, to be always open and looking for opportunities, but also not running off in every direction at every new opportunity that presents itself. You really have to have self-control and think about the best ways to move forward, while trying to stick to those core principles of saving 10%, keeping a budget, investing in something safe, and looking for business opportunities, while continuing to grow your education. In the final chapter, Chapter 11, we learn to seek counsel from those who are wise and successful, which suggests seeking advice and guidance from those that have already achieved financial success. Like the character at the start of this book that set this whole thing off, you should not be afraid to ask for advice from wise and successful people. They're probably in the position that they are in life because they followed principles like this, and they are eager to bring others on that path. If they're not, you lose nothing. But when you do find a mentor that genuinely wants to help you and has achieved financial advice, those conversations can change the course of your life. The wise man seeks counsel from those that are wise and successful. The wise man surrounds himself with wise counselors. The wise man is not too proud to seek counsel from those that are wiser and more successful than he. Chapter 11 closes by making you realize that every character in this book that eventually is more financially stable later in their life all had an impactful conversation with the richest man in Babylon. If it helps, know that even the richest man is asking for advice from others. Even he is not too proud to learn from others that are successful in different fields. So you need to be open and active in seeking that advice too. I hope you see why this book has been popular in the business and improvement community for about 100 years at this point. If you want to dive into it, check out the links in the description to pick up a copy. Thanks for watching, and I hope this helps you out.